Cumulative product basically means when we put money in initially, let's say $1,000, we make 1%, then we have say $1,010, and then we make another 1%, then we have basically, we add another percent of $2,010, and so it means we're reinvesting our profits, we're compounding our profits. However, log returns, it's basically, let's say we put $1,000 in and we make 1% in a day. What we then do is we take that 1% out, we come back to $1,000, and then if we make another percent, we again go to 1,001 and so on. And then what we do is we actually just look at the profits that we make, right? So we're looking only at what are the profits that we make when we every time start with $1,000 every day. That also means if we make a loss, we have to say we go to $990, we have to put $10 back. And then so when we use log returns, it basically tells us how much money have we taken out over that time to always to end up with $1,000 right at the end. Whereas with compounded profits, we say, well, we put $1,000 in, we make money, we add to that. Just to reiterate, when we do percentage change with compounded profits or with cumulative profits, we basically have to add 1, because we had 0.022%, times 1%. That would be just a super small number, and it wouldn't make sense because we have 2 profits, right? So if we want to actually calculate the multiplication of these profits or the compounded profits, we actually have to do it like this. We have to add a 1 to each of them. That's how you compound it. But then also the other thing is, this might be seemingly weird, this step that I did here, multiply. Do you understand what I did here? Let me show you. So let's just say we had 0.99, right? So we have 3 days, right? These are our profits, right? We made 2% here, we made 1% here, and we lost 1% here, right? So what we can now do is we can do a cumulative product on this. Okay, so we run it, and we basically end up like with 2% or just under 2% profit. Yeah. Now, how would we do it if we'd say, well, how much would it be if we started with $100 instead of 1? Here we start basically with $1 because we end up with 1.01, right? What would we do if we start with $100?
Logically thinking, I would say we add, but looking from what we did, I would say we multiply by 100.
Yeah, you have to multiply by 100. That's the thing. You can't just add $100. You actually have to multiply with $100
because it's percent. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you add $100, it actually doesn't give you. It doesn't make sense. You basically multiply with $100. That thing, and what that means is you multiply each of them with $100, and so then you compound the percentages. So this is how it's done, and this is why. See here, when we do df close ilog of 0, what that means is these are the first 2 price values of our time series. So with QQQ, we start with $36, and with SPY, we start with $111. Yeah. What we then do is we do a multiplication of those columns with the first entries in those columns. So we've got our percentage change, we add 1. We take the cumulative product, right? This is what we've done here. And then we add a starting value to it. And so we get back exactly to what we had here. Yeah, see, this is perfectly the same. But we don't necessarily want that. We want them to start at the same point because, that's our starting point. So if we, instead of 100, we say, we start, or let's just be really optimistic, we start with $1 million. So you could then say, all right, if we start with $1 million, we start at 0, we have $1 million multiplier. See, this is 1E7. So here we are just under 10 million, and here we are at about 3 or 4 million. We could actually just put a grid in here where we say grid equals true. So there you go. We are just over 8 million here and just under 4 million here. Yeah. If we started with 1 million. So normally I just start with 1 because it's just by far the easiest. I can just see, oh, okay, my profit here multiplied by 8 and here it multiplied by 4, but it didn't actually multiply by 8 because what actually happened is we start with 1. And so we went to 8. So what I normally do is after I do the cumulative product, I usually just want to start with 0. So what I do is I actually subtract 1 again. So now it basically starts at 0, right? And then I say, all right, I made, and it goes from 0 to 8. So I made just under 800% profit. That's what it's basically telling me. And here I made, just over 200% profit.